Hello, my loves. I'm really sorry for the bad sound quality today. I apologize. I've had some mic issues. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, I wanted to share a lesson, though, that I think is worth it, even if the sound quality is bad. It's a pretty main, important lesson in life, and here it is. All right, when I was young, like young adult, just starting on kind of the young adult pathway, paying rent, paying bills, doing a really hard job. Basically I was past the point, growing up at home or being in college where anyone was really caring about my comfort, right? Like no one was taking care of me. I was taking care of myself. I went through a particularly difficult challenge early in this era, and my dad, I mentioned to my dad, I think something like when it ended, it was like, oh, thank heavens that's over. Now I can just go on with my peaceful life again. And, Dad very wisely said, well, kind of doesn't really work like that, Braden. Functional adults, people who have good lives, really, they kind of just go from stretching experience to stretching experience. All right. Now that may sound really depressing, but it's not. First of all, it's just reality. Okay. Life, I think in our minds, we sort of expect life to be fairly smooth and mellow with occasional bumps and storms, right? But that's just not the reality. And if that's our expectation, we will spend vast quantities of energy, waste vast quantities of energy over the years, trying to make that the reality or lamenting the fact that it's not. When you have a problem, we often, first of all, just the problem, the challenge is hard, right? So got to spend energy dealing with the problem you have. But secondly, if we spend a lot of time kind of lamenting the fact that we have this problem or that it's not fair or it's not what we wanted, that is a second problem. So we got the first order problem, which is the problem, and then we have the second order problem, which is our response. Both of those problems take energy. And if we are spending a lot of time lamenting on the problem that it's occurred, that reduces the amount of energy and bandwidth we have to actually address the problem, and so we can get through the problem sooner. All right, so that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is that there's no way to have a happy life, to be autonomous and independent, to have good relationships, to have meaningful work without taking some risks. All right, and all of those risks, everything we do that's good opens us up to stress, right? Any good relationship is going to be wonderful, but it's also going to bring a little stress. There'll be stressful times in our life. A job that is meaningful and fulfilling is also going to have stress, right? I mean, just like you can go through this. The only way to not have any stress in your life ever, to not have problems, is to do nothing and to never take any risks, to never open yourself up. But the reality is while that can be a peaceful life, it is not a meaningful life, and it won't bring us joy. So we can lament and be frustrated that the water is choppy and we wanted to swim in it, or we can just learn to surf and learn to ride the waves. There was a Roman philosopher who had a really important teaching, and he said that life is like a journey. You're on this road, and all of a sudden you come to a road and there's a rock or a boulder or a tree, huge tree trunk across the way, some obstacle. And you can either, you can quit, you can go back, you can sit down and weep, or you can try to move the obstacle. And he said that one thing to remember is that, the obstacle is not a diversion from our journey. The obstacle is the journey. The obstacle is the way. All right? The strength and the resources, the resilience, the grit, the learning that happens as we work to either overcome that obstacle or go around it, to move it, that's actually the real journey of life. And so when we have these challenges, we shouldn't see them as diversions from our life or obstacles to what we want, they're part of the way to get what we want. They're part of the road, part of the way. The obstacle is the way. I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm saying when you can remember it and try to keep this framework in your mind, it makes things so much more manageable. It's really empowering. Also, the other thing to remember, this is my grandma, one of her favorite sayings, is this too shall pass. All right, every challenge you're having, everything that's difficult today may quickly get better by tomorrow. Sometimes things happen very quickly. So just work. Remember, the obstacle is the way. You're learning, you're growing from encountering this obstacle, and this too shall pass. I hope that helps everyone. And again, I'm sorry for the bad sound quality. Love you all, your internet grandpa.